Welcome to the LearnRHEL YouTube channel. There are going to be several playlists for learning Linux skills at the basic, intermediate, and advanced levels. And this particular video is intended for a target audience of RHEL variants, that is Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Scientific Linux, and CentOS Linux. Now, if you're a Debian or Ubuntu user, you might get something out of this. But again, the target audience is for Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Scientific Linux, and CentOS Linux. What we're going to be discussing in this particular topic today is commands that allow you to look at the guts, the contents of ASCII text files. What is an ASCII text file, you say? Well, it's a file that has human readable content in it. In other words, you can read the letters, you can read the periods and the special characters, you can read the numbers. In other words, if you use a command with it, it's not going to throw alien code on the screen, something like out of Independence Day. So there's good reason to learn another command. It's not associated with the commands we're looking for, but it's the file command, F-I-L-E. The file command will let you determine the type of file it is. So let's go to the /lib directory. And, let's go to the /lib64 directory, And here we go. We have a bunch of files in here. Some of them are actually links back to the original file. And what we're going to do is run the file command against our real file, not a link, like the libpool diff.so.1.3.3. Copy and paste, and I'm going to hit enter. By doing this command, what we're finding is this is the command I ran the command against, or this is the file that I ran the command against, and this is the result of running the command. ELF 64-bit LSB shared object. A shared object is essentially the equivalent to a DLL file in Windows. Only we're talking Linux, so it's a shared object. SO for shared object. It's also ELF, which really means it's been encoded in a Linux format. Right? So now we know what kind of file it is. This is not one of those good candidates for testing the more, the less, or the cat command against to get the content of it to the screen. And I'll show you why. Remember I was talking about the alien code, the Independence Day movie example? Well, let's take a look at the content of this file and see what happens when we run the command cat. Oh my goodness. We have all kinds of alien code on the screen. That's not very useful. Let's try running the command more against the same file. Well, this command at least came back, told you not a text file. Now let's try one thing more, the less command. And this comes back and tells you this may be a binary file. See it anyway? So if you hit yes, oh, now we've got alien code all over the screen again. Not so cool. Hit the Q key because we're using less, and we'll get our prompt back. So one way or another, we have determined that at least these files, the SO files, are actually not the kind of files we're looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. All right, let's go back to the root home directory. CD and hit enter. Clear the screen so we don't get the alien code on the screen anymore. And here we have a listing of files in this directory. And all of these files, this is a directory, so don't worry about that. All of these files are actually going to be ASCII text. I know that. But challenge me. Let's see what it looks like. File against this file. It says it's ASCII text. File against this one. Also ASCII text. It tells you right here. I mean, technically it's a born-again shell script, but it is human readable because it has ASCII text in it. Let's do a file command against this one. There we go. It tells you it's ASCII text. All right, so we know these are all ASCII text files. Let's take a look at the content of them. I'm going to use the cat command against the generate message, test messages. Hit enter. And basically what that did was take the content of the file and throw all of it on the screen. So when you do that, if you have a really long file with lots and lots of text lines, lots and lines of text, what's going to happen is it's going to throw everything on the screen, but then the last line will shove the line above it up. And eventually you'll just see too much up off the screen, but you're still reading in human readable text. For example, let's take a look at the Anaconda ks.cfg file. Hit the Enter key. There's a lot more in this file than just this. Let me take the scroll bar here. Scroll up a little bit. See, there's more and more text. There's a lot more. Again, we just use the cat command, and basically that's catalog, or concatenate as the man page, we'll call it. And so you just screw everything up on the screen blindly, without any controls. Let's list our files again. Let's do the more command on any of these. So I'm going to do the more command on the initial setup ks.cfg. And now we see the result of the same, let's do it on the Anaconda for an example, for comparison. There we go. So this is the very top of the file, and it stopped at around 48% right there. If I hit the Enter key, I can go down a few more. Enter key some more, a little bit more. Enter key a lot more, I can go down. If I hit the space bar, I can jump down basically page by page on the screen. All right, so we've learned the cat command, we've learned the more command. Let us try the less command. I'm going to clear the screen again. I'm going to do a less on the Anaconda file. And here we go. Now we can see from line 1 all the way down to the auto port line. Next page, hitting spacebar again, next page, spacebar again, next page. You're at the end of the file. Well, if you hit the Enter key, that's not going to work. So hit the Q key, and now you're back at the prompt. You see the difference between using less is it'll clear the screen and go back to your prompt. But if you use a more command, you go page by page by page, but it leaves you a prompt at the very bottom with the text you had last seen intact. That's the difference between more and less. And again, the cat command will just dump everything to the screen blindly. So that is it for learning about the more or the less or the cat command. Thank you.